In an age when women were expected to stay silent, she commanded a navy. While kings faltered, she counseled an empire. I'm Allegra Roselli, and this is the untold story of Artemisia of Caria, queen, warrior, and one of the most brilliant naval tacticians the ancient world ever knew. Support us at Byte-Sized Artistry History by liking and subscribing to the channel.
Artemisia I, circa Floruit, 480 BCE, was the remarkable Greek-Carian queen of Halicarnassus and nearby islands, Kos, Kalymnos, Nisyros, under Persian overlordship. Daughter of Lygdamis, satrap of Caria, and a Cretan mother, she inherited her husband's tyranny for the sake of her young son Pisindelis. Herodotus, himself a Halicarnassian, admires that she ruled of her own high-hearted valor and notes that she furnished 5 warships, second only to Sidon, in Xerxes' Grand Armada. In short, she was effectively the admiral of Persia's navy in the Aegean, commanding Greeks from Halicarnassus, Kos, Nisyros, and Kalydna. Under Xerxes I, reigned 486 to 465 BCE, she joined the 480 BCE invasion of Greece as a loyal vassal, a fact distinguished in later tradition. When Xerxes crossed into Greece in 480 BCE, Artemisia moved with the fleet. At the naval station of Artemisium in July 480, her contingent fought alongside the main Persian fleet. Although Herodotus does not single out her actions at Artemisium, he emphasizes that she brought the best ships after Sidon. In the confusing straits around Euboea, Greek and Persian navies clashed, but Artemisia's aggressive counsel already set her apart. Some sources say Xerxes even chose her to embarrass the Greeks, so fearful were they of her leadership. A 10,000 drachma reward was placed on capturing her, since they were indignant that a woman waged war against Athens. As Themistocles lured the Greeks southward, Artemisia's 5 ships sailed on toward the decisive engagement at Salamis. At Salamis, in September 480 BCE, the narrow straits became the stage for Artemisia's greatest fame. Herodotus describes Xerxes watching the fight from his throne on Mount Aigaleos, surrounded by Persian nobles. The allied Persian council debated whether to attack the Greek fleet. In this council, Artemisia alone counseled restraint. She bluntly advised King Xerxes that a sea fight would risk all, since their men are as much stronger than your men by sea as men are stronger than women. In other words, she argued that Greek seamanship and bravery outmatched the Persians. Xerxes respected her wisdom, reportedly quipping, "My women have become men and my men women," in praise, but he overruled her. That night, he ordered the fleet to sea for the next morning. The next day's battle was chaotic. As Herodotus recounts, when Artemisia's ship found itself alone and pursued by an Athenian trireme, she made a daring move. Unable to flee, allied ships blocked her path. She rammed a Persian ally, the ship of Damasithemus of Kalyndos, sinking it. The Athenian pursuer saw this and, thinking Artemisia's ship was Greek or defecting, turned away. Her gambit worked. She escaped destruction and in the confusion spared herself and infuriated her Persian rival. Xerxes, watching, initially thought she had sunk a Greek enemy and delighted in her prowess. One observer exclaimed, "See how well Artemisia fights. She has just sunk a ship of the enemy." And the king famously retorted that his men had become like women in courage next to his women. In a parallel account, Polyaenus adds that Xerxes then rewarded Artemisia with a suit of Greek armor, while mockingly sending the captured Calyndian captain a distaff and spindle. After Salamis, the Persian fleet was shattered. The Greeks towed the wrecks home, and Artemisia sailed safely back toward Asia. Her escape was aided by Greek fear of capturing a female commander. Herodotus notes the Athenians even placed a bounty of 10,000 drachmas on her capture alive, partly because it was deemed intolerable that a woman had sailed against Athens. Instead of capture, she rejoined Xerxes' camp and continued to advise him. In the aftermath of Salamis, the Persian army was in crisis. Xerxes assembled his generals and again summoned Artemisia as counselor. He told her that Mardonius proposed either sending him with 300,000 soldiers to conquer the Peloponnese or dividing the forces. Now I ask of you, counsel me as to which of these two things would be best for me to do. Artemisia advised prudence. She urged the king to take the bulk of the army home and leave Mardonius to conduct operations as he saw fit. Xerxes was gratified by her frank, practical counsel. Herodotus notes she correctly advised him, and he thanked her for it. He even entrusted her with a personal mission, escorting his young sons to safety in Ephesus as he retreated. By this point, she had shown herself the only ally whose strategic judgment he fully trusted. Ancient historians did not forget Artemisia. Herodotus himself, writing just decades later, praises her manliness and resolution. Later, writers echoed his admiration. The Roman historian Justin reports that in the melee at Salamis, Artemisia fought with the greatest gallantry, so that you might have seen womanish fear in a man and manly boldness in a woman. Greeks even memorialized her unusual role. Pausanias records that in Sparta's agora, built from Persian war spoils, a marble pillar depicted Artemisia among the defeated Persians, noting she voluntarily joined Xerxes' expedition against Greece and distinguished herself at the naval engagement of Salamis. Yet not all fame was flattering. The physician Thessalus, son of Hippocrates, later derided her as a pirate. Nonetheless, her daring conduct and leadership won enduring attention. In some, Artemisia stands out in the sources as a rare female commander, a queen who outshone many of her male peers in strategy and courage, vindicated by king and chronicler alike. Throughout this drama, the voice of Herodotus and others reminds us that history often speaks in anecdotes. Artemisia's story, her counsel of caution, her bold ramming of a friendly ship, and Xerxes' offhand jokes, reads like a tale worthy of legend. But it is grounded in the records of her age. As a result, the cinematic story of Artemisia is both startlingly modern, a woman at the helm in war, and vividly ancient, a monarch surveying a sea battle. This historical voiceover draws on those ancient testimonies to give Artemisia her due. A warrior queen whose wit and daring left an impression as memorable as any in the Greco-Persian War.
Centuries before her time, Artemisia defied every expectation, not for glory, but for legacy. Her name was carved into history, not just for her courage, but for her wisdom. If we listen closely, the waves of the Aegean still whisper her name. I'm Allegra Roselli. Thank you for journeying with me through time.